Congratulations! You are now a mobile home park owner. You bought your first mobile home park. You now have a level of swag about you. Conversations become smoother with brokers, investors, bankers. Things will come easier now, right? Well, not exactly.
Mobile home parks need good would-be entrepreneurs to get off the sidelines and into the game. My name is Ryan Neris. I started with nothing. No money, no network, and no experience. Over my first decade in the business, I've acquired over 80 mobile home parks spanning 4,500 lots and counting. No matter what level you're at, I can help you get started, scale, and get your business to the next level.
I'm Mike Panzolini. In my 10 years working in private equity, I've managed over 250 mobile home parks. I've spent my entire career in real estate, both personally and professionally, building complex systems and processes and leveraging data and technology to create automations in both acquisitions and operations. I can teach you the methods that the big shops use to professionalize your business.
Together, we will equip you with all the tools, wisdom, and skills that I needed to create and scale a larger business from humble beginnings.
And I'll give you that big private equity shop edge to push your business to the next level, bringing institutional tools to the individual investor. We are the 30-day mobile home park.
Excitement might not consistently define this phase for you. Sure, buying your first comes with a honeymoon phase that's absolutely exhilarating. But there's one main problem that makes phase 2 the second most dangerous phase. Simply put, lack of personal cash flow. While not impossible, odds are your first deal probably won't provide you enough personal cash flow to quit your job and stay full-time in mobile home parks. Whether a home run or a complete nightmare, you probably will need at least one more mobile home park, if not several. For the overwhelming majority of investors, one mobile home park won't provide enough cash flow to go full-time. Forget trying to grow an empire. Let's just focus on staying in business. Not only to get full-time in mobile home parks, but to stay full-time in mobile home parks. One must solve that personal cash flow problem. That cash flow needs to be sustainable and payable in perpetuity. Now, I will refer to this perpetuity of sufficient cash flow as critical mass. By definition, critical mass is the minimum size or amount of something required to start or maintain a venture. This shouldn't surprise you to learn, especially if starting with limited or no money like I did, that only one mobile home park likely won't achieve your personal critical mass. You'll most likely need, at a minimum, a small, stabilized portfolio. It also shouldn't surprise you to learn that the second most difficult phase, the second most that claims the second highest volume of mobile home park exits, is phase 2. Do you have what it takes to go from side hustle to full-time gig? Chapter 2, Stabilization. Day 1 of being a mobile home park owner. How do you feel? Drowning? Full of questions? Surprised? You can define your first mobile home park that way, especially if you operate yourself rather than outsource or rely on a business partner. Step 1, execute the business plan. The track record and experience you gain here will fuel your engine with war stories, network contacts, and know-how to get you your next mobile home park. But that only comes with successful execution of a business plan. Most likely need to continue working your full-time gig, meaning this mobile home park or mobile home parks will serve as your side hustle. Manage that distraction well, because while your full-time gig provides comfort and predictability, your mobile home park business will be your wealth vessel. How can you stabilize your new mobile home park, work a full-time gig, all while continuing to find your next mobile home park? Beyond the cash flow, the exhaustion from the workload during phase 2 kills a lot of mobile home park journeys. This too much aspect grows, compounds with time, especially if only a little bit of money spits off. Imagine working a second job that barely paid you anything. Eventually, you drop that second job. And lots of people end up doing exactly that. Subphase 1, stabilize your mobile home park. Once stable, your time opens up and the cash flow starts coming in. Chapter 2, buying more. Now that you have your first mobile home park under control, or at least under enough control to get your head above water, you need to use that time to find more opportunities. To clarify, when I say stabilized, I mean stabilized enough where you feel like you can handle adding on your next mobile home park. If not already obvious, don't wait until full stabilization before you end up buying your next mobile home park. The only way to escape phase 2 is scale. And like with phase 1, the law of diminishing intent looms large. You'll succumb and exit if you don't find a way. Now, finding another mobile home park close by your first one will prove difficult, but not impossible. Definitely hit your local market hard, but don't marry yourself to one and only market. Mobile home parks are, for all intents and purposes, rare. The limited supply makes growth in just one market very challenging. Hopefully, you have a couple of other markets to source beyond the one that you own in now. If you don't already, start now. Mind you, critical mass might not exist for you at your second acquisition. For me, it took 3 mobile home parks to reach critical mass and be full-time. But really, our 527 lot third acquisition thrust us into critical mass, giving us the volume we needed. Had we not found our way into that big one, we likely would have just needed the next few that we bought shortly thereafter to get us to critical mass. We would have gotten there, just would have needed a tad longer. But for you and your journey, just know that critical mass will look different for everyone. While it could be only one mobile home park, you will likely need several to truly get there. And you may need to pivot on your strategy. You may need to buy in new markets. You may need to find more investors. You may need to change a whole bunch of things to get to that next level. Or you may just need to hold steady and wait for the next opportunity to present itself. Chapter 3, skill building. Hard truth. For most, phase 2 does not end with your second mobile home park. And a third mobile home park might not catapult you into phase 3 either. However, unlike phase 1, you now have your very own mobile home park to experiment with. For Ian and I, our second mobile home park included a mix of tenant-owned homes and park-owned homes on city water and septic. We had to figure out 2 very different businesses at the same time while managing private utilities and bill back for the water. We tinkered with the marketing to lease up the homes. We learned about the utilities commission so we could legally bill back water usage. And yes, if you listen to mobile home parks in real life, you know what I'm going to say here. We dealt with an unreasonably hard to find water leak. Imagine going back to your investor shortly after closing and asking them for more money because you made a mistake. We discovered the tedium of bookkeeping, the never-ending nature of administrative tasks that just randomly appear, and of course, title work for park-owned homes. Little did we know that all of these small, seemingly insignificant tasks and problems we were solving ended up making us better operators and underwriters. We now had a better understanding of what fair prices were for things like garbage removal. We developed sharper systems of trust but verify for employees and vendors. We learned from several entry-level mistakes we made along the way. You can't rush this. You can't skip this. Sometimes experience via time in the game is what you need to get to that next level. This may be the most important thing to keep in mind in phase 2. You have to build skills. If you must live in phase 2 for an uncomfortably long time, fine. So long as you keep pushing to buy more and you remember to learn along the way. Chapter 4. What does this phase feel like? In the phase 1 episode, I likened this mobile home park journey to mountain climbing. I ended off the last episode with the chilling image of someone who just started their mountain climb and got stuck. Imagine that you've climbed up high enough that jumping down isn't an option anymore, but a path upwards doesn't seem overly obvious, if even possible at all. Kind of scary, right? This happens all too frequently. Feeling stuck and not knowing if you will ever make it takes a serious toll on you. Fear creeps in. Doubt compounds with time. Labeling your own emotions will help massively in this phase. Our emotions cloud our judgment, assumptions, and actions. So what types of emotions might you experience here? First and foremost, exhilaration. If real estate investment calls you, then acquisitions will always be the fun part. But you'll also feel fearful, hesitation, doubt, and mental exhaustion. I can't stress enough how much doubt will continue to creep in over time. For reference, Ian and I spent 14 months in phase 1 and only about 8 months in phase 2. It took a while to get going, but once we did, we hit some momentum. Believe it or not, Ian felt serious doubt shortly after we bought our first mobile home park. Go back and listen to Mobile Home Parks in Real Life episode 5. It's called Perseverance. I tell Ian and my story of phase 2. Even though we only lived in phase 2 for a short 8 months, we struggled. And by the way, our phase 2 included closing on our second mobile home park and having an extended closing for our third mobile home park. We had a lot to look forward to during that short 8 months. And even still, doubt clouded both of our minds. Living a year and change of not knowing if we were ever going to buy our first mobile home park compounded and hit hard when we weren't cash flowing after that first acquisition. Seeing how little our second acquisition cash flowed, not to mention having to ask our investor for more money, felt like we were going backwards. Even with a large acquisition on the horizon, promising a jump to phase 3, along with the other mobile home park leads in the hopper, fear and doubt matched and really exceeded the level of excitement that we extracted from this experience. 2 years doesn't feel like a long time in retrospect, but being in the moment felt like forever. It was an absolute roller coaster of emotions. I can't tell you how to mentally fight through your own phase 2 experience, but I can tell you you must learn yourself, because phase 3 will also come with its own set of mental challenges. Frian and I, we just put our heads down and worked through it. For us, keeping busy was that medicine we needed to stay focused. Those mental skills continue to serve us not only in mobile home parks, but in other businesses we've started since then. So it shouldn't surprise you to hear that reaching critical mass doesn't mean that you've made it, even if the numbers and cash flow would suggest it. But rather, if you can build some mental soothing skills in phase 2, this is the important thing, as they will continue to greatly serve you in phase 3 and beyond, in mobile home parks and in life. Chapter 5, Escaping Phase 2. So you're sitting there on that mountain. Hanging there. As you look down at your feet dangling, you think, why did I do this? What can you realistically do in that situation? Even if you find a path upwards, what happens if you hit another dead end? Think about that for a second. You've busted through this plateau only to reach another one where you sit up even higher on the mountain with even less escape options. Fear is an understatement. I haven't discussed pros and cons yet on phase 1 or phase 2 because, well, there really aren't any in either phase 1 or phase 2. Unless you're just a passive LP investor with your focus elsewhere, or you just want some MHB exposure to bolster your own financial portfolio, then you really have no choice but to make this mobile home park thing work. You must continue climbing. You must let faith in yourself and in this journey win out. Like with phase 1, you must acquire as fast as possible to achieve enough personal income to keep this train rolling. There's no simpler way to say this than that the only way to hoist yourself into phase 3 is to buy more mobile home parks. If you're on that mountain, don't look down. Keep looking for a path upwards. Conclusion. I'll end with a paraphrase quote from one of my favorite books, Mastery by Robert Greene. Masters develop an intense connection and desire that allows them to withstand the pain of the process, the self-doubts, the tedious hours of practice and study, the inevitable setbacks, the endless barbs from the envious. They develop a resiliency and confidence that others lack. Whether your first mobile home park brings enough cash flow to skip phase 2, or if you, like me, needed several to reach your own personal critical mass, certain skills will prove crucial to your journey. Take this time to embrace the learning curve and the inevitable mistakes. You need to get better. You need to learn how to fight through that tedium, that doubt, that fear. You need to start doing things like looking at other markets. You need to be networking, making offers, and laying the operational foundation for your growth. Phase 2, then, is about honing skills, overcoming mental blocks, and growing, and learning how to do this so you can do it again and again and again as you continue through your mobile home park journey in your life. A successful phase 2 involves you learning to triumph over struggle. Don't look to avoid struggle. Look to best struggle. Look to learn to win in spite of those hardships. And like phase 1, lingering too long in phase 2 increases the risks of those excuses inevitably derailing your journey. Those excuses will always be there, but so will the opportunities. And trust me, those excuses get more compelling with time, not less. Let go of fear and doubt. They will only slow you down. And remember, you don't need perfection, just cash flow and skill building. Even short-term ownership can serve as a necessary stepping stone. So if the deal pencils and the reward bests the risks, buy it. While haste can lead to mistakes, urgency remains essential. Move smartly, but decisively. Up next, we'll discuss the rewards waiting for you in phase 3. Let me tell you, phase 3 can literally be the moment you realize your dreams.
Entrepreneurs make mistakes, but with the overwhelming amount of free information out there, you don't have to be doomed to make those same mistakes. You just have to find a consolidated version of the most important information. What if I told you that Ryan and I will gift you all of the due diligence mistakes that he and I have made over the years for free? What if I also told you that Ryan and I will hop on a 30-minute coaching call to walk through any questions you might have, give you advice, and even do a free live deal review to get you started on your first or next mobile home park acquisition? Just leave us a 5-star review, screenshot the review after it goes live, and click the link in the show notes to fill out the form and send it to us. Afterwards, join our Facebook group, Mobile Home Park Masterminds, where you'll find hundreds of other mobile home park owners sharing ideas, contractors, and deals. It's free to join, and we would absolutely love seeing you in there. Thanks for listening. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and we'll see you soon.